Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday, September 22nd, 2024, and we have entered Libra season. Happy birthday to all my Libras. I hope it's a good solar return for you. We are having a solar eclipse next week. Well, it's on the 2nd of October. We're not quite there yet, but the energies are ramping up. So first of all, let me do a little bit of business. What I'm going to do this morning, and I do almost every Sunday morning live at 11 a.m. Pacific time, is we look at the transits coming up ahead. And then I go and I do an angel reading and pull a tarot card for each sign. These videos are based on whole sign Western astrology. So when I refer to a sign, it's the rising sign. This is also applicable to the moon and to the sun. And if you have 3 or more personal planets in any one sign or house, I'd check out that video as well. Good morning, CC Pups. It's good to see you. Okay, so I want to talk, before I jump into the transits, I got a comment a couple weeks ago, and it resonated with me, and at the same time, it kind of rubbed up against me. Good morning, Queen Leo. Somebody said, this feels like a therapy session. And I thought, well, of course, it's me. Good morning, small wildflowers. Everything is a therapy session in my world. I have Mercury in Scorpio, and I'm always trying to unravel the background noise in my brain. But what I was thinking about when I was meditating is that it really is very psychological, because astrology gives you an opportunity in the form of the planets to see your own character traits, because we possess each one of the planets within our character traits, and also to connect emotionally and spiritually to a journey that our soul has agreed to take. So the stars represent the various aspects of the human experience. And what is the human experience at its very core? Emotional. So it's pretty, that girl was, or whoever that was, I assume it was a girl, was right on. And I'm proudly going to own that. Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Margie. Good morning, Pixie. It's good to see you all. Okay, so I wanted to talk about, for a minute, just Chiron. And I wanted to offer it this way, because as I was meditating this morning, a couple of things hit me. Chiron is in Aries right now. And I have my south node at the very beginning of Aries and my rising at the very last degrees of Aries. I realized that Chiron is opposing my sun, starting an opposition there. And then it occurred to me, well, that of course it's going to oppose Libra, and it's going to square the cardinal signs, Cancer and Capricorn. And then it's going to trine the fire signs, Leo and Sagittarius. This Chiron really is emphasizing yourself, your discernment. The Aries energy rules the head, which encases the mind. And so I feel like this is a really strong time. While Chiron will exasperate a wound, and that wound could very much feel like disempowerment of some kind, it also offers the transformation of that through an awareness. So I wanted to offer that up. And I wanted to say this too, because when we're looking at our natal charts and we think we have no real energies in a house because there's no planets there, that's not necessarily true. So when you see planets squaring a house that has no planets in it, for instance, I have no planets in Gemini, yet my Mercury is in Scorpio. So my mercurial energy is really strong. It also is interesting to me because I'm challenged with workmates. I'm challenged with friends. I'm challenged by my sibling, so that the emptiness of that house kind of makes sense to me. So I want to kind of open these things up to you so that you could start stretching how you're viewing your own natal charts and how the transits are affecting you. So if you happen to have Gemini going, or you have Jupiter going through Gemini and there's no planets in Gemini, look at the aspects it's making to other houses. And even if those houses are empty, what does it have to offer you in the way of expansion? Because I was thinking about Jupiter the other day as I've been observing a lot of political interviews, debates, etc. I mean, we're all, let's not pretend that's not going on in the background. And it occurred to me that Jupiter is these big philosophical thoughts, these sort of, these concepts that not everybody can wrap their brain around. And then Mercury is this very small tidbits, that the sound bites. And so there's a calling for us to be discerning within the information. If it's too broad, if it's too short, I need to do a little bit more investigation into all communications. So I thought that was interesting. Let's get to the transits for this week, because there's a lot the sun obviously has entered Libra. And this is where the sun is in detriment. The sun is actually feeling not as respected, not as valued. The sun, who is the leader of the Zodiac, is now in a house where it has to compromise. It has to be congenial. It has to be demure and diplomatic and fair and balanced. And oftentimes this is a challenge because Libra, in its wanting to assert balance and harmony, can be dismissed, meaning the sun in Libra. So I think this is an important dynamic because we have a lot of planets in challenging signs. Mars is currently in fall in Cancer. We have Venus entering Scorpio later today in its detriment. And this is where Venus, that rules Libra, Venus in Scorpio is feeling like, I know things I'm not supposed to know. I know things psychologically about what's going on financially, sexually, in power and control issues. But if I want to keep stable in my relationship, I have to zip my lip. So she can feel super frustrated in this energy. And yet at the same time, we're talking about a more modern age where the feminine energy is allowed to be a little bit more assertive. And when you're in a sign that's co-ruled by two malefics, Mars and Pluto, being assertive is conflicting, because assertion isn't about aggression. Assertion is sort of a calm confidence in standing your ground. So I think that's important. We also see, as Venus enters her detriment, she begins a square with Pluto. So there we go. Pluto ruling, the Scorpio energy, and that sense of, I smell a rat, but I don't know how to get the rat out of my house without, having to do something pretty crazy about it. Like, I remember I had a mouse in my house one time and I did not want to kill it. And every guy in my building was like, you have to kill it. They'll just keep coming. And I'm like, no, I don't want to kill it. I want to send it off. So this is the conflict, okay, of Venus and Scorpio, wanting to kill off something dark and having it, it's just challenging. This Venus and Pluto is about your self-worth. It's about your receptivity. It's about your money. Venus in Scorpio is about your money and how money can also be weaponized. So this is an important dynamic. This is the other thing going on. Venus, as she enters Scorpio, will become conjunct with the Shapley attractor. The Shapley attractor is a point within the Shapley cluster where we are tasked in our human body to release false attachments, which makes perfect sense because in the sign of Scorpio, we will give up our power, give up our body, give up our inner knowing for some things that may feel materially comfortable. Somebody has money. At one point, I dated somebody and he could help me feel financially secure, but he was a very unloving human. He was he was actually a Libra man, and he was, I'm not sure about a lot of things behind the curtain there, but needless to say, I was triggered and I had a Pluto transit between my sense of co-creation and my sense of wanting to plug into something that makes me feel secure. So I think that's the tension that we're feeling with this square. And this happens almost all week long. We will see Venus conjunct the Shapley attractor on the 24th. That's a couple days from now. That's exact. And if you have any planets within 5 to 12 degrees of 2 degrees of Scorpio, this is important within your life path. The tighter the orb, the more intense the energy. And this is the challenge. If your moon is in Scorpio, then you have an inner knowing that you don't like to listen to. And it's very conflicting for you. And it can make you actually cranky. But if you pay attention to it and surrender and then connect to spirit, you could find that some of the things that come to the surface actually empower you through the knowledge of it. Queen, I'm missing things in the chat. Oh, yay. So you're going to get a little cushion in your bank account. That always feels good. That's very interesting that Venus is moving into Scorpio, because that would be inheritances or other people's money that comes in, and Venus rules money, and so does Scorpio. So that's a very interesting correlation there. You know, I don't know if I could actually kill anything that's big. I have a hard time with cockroaches that crunch and that are this big. I really have a hard time. Maybe it's my Venus in Virgo. I just don't like it at all. So, all right, let me move on. Okay, Mercury is going to enter Libra on the 26th. And I think this is important too, because, we're getting into that season of the year where the planets are starting to hit the Shapley cluster. And I think this is important because as we harness these energies, and I did an eclipse video, by the way, if you guys want to check that out, for the eclipse on the 2nd. I think this is a powerful eclipse. It's conjunct Mercury. We're going to talk about Mercury right now. Mercury is conjunct the super galactic center, and that is a point where, as Mercury enters Libra, the super galactic center is at 2 degrees of Libra. This is where you see yourself as source energy. And I want to offer it this way, because it's not about, oh, I need to work hard to make money. It's more about, oh, I understand I'm a co-creator, and that my actions send a message out to the universe through my thoughts and my speech, Mercury. We also have this opposing Neptune. Now, Neptune is really a subtle planet with an amazingly huge punch. Because right now, as Neptune is transiting retrograde in the last degrees of Neptune, there is a strong feeling of wateriness, almost as if there is a bigger call to release the ego, or to be aware of the ego and how the ego edges God out. So here's Venus in Scorpio, scared about whether she can make her own money, drive her own bus, be a boss without being a bitch. And then there's this feeling of Neptune saying, well, of course, in your inner voice, you can. Your inner voice, your soul knows that you're a co-creator, and that your focus and your willingness to emotionally connect. That's where the therapy of astrology comes in. We manifest on our emotional body, whether we like it or not, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. So as we're aware of those emotions, we can help. I don't know if we can change the emotion off just by the awareness of it, but we can engage our spiritual team to help us realign, or to find the wisdom of a challenging emotion or a challenging dynamic. Mars in Cancer right now is on fire. And I don't know how many of you go to other platforms and engage in other, like chats and lives, but people are very impassioned by their own viewpoints and their own dynamics. The other thing that's kind of lurking in the background is Jupiter starting to slow down. Jupiter is going to go retrograde on the 9th of October. And so we're starting to feel Jupiter slow down. And I think that's really important, because as we are aware of that shadow period, it gives us, in our awareness, an opportunity to really find the bridge between the big ideas and how they're going to be implemented. I think that is so important for everyone, especially the Americans that are able to vote in this election. Super important to put those dots together right now. Okay. Off we go to our readings. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Queen Leo. I want to say you left me the most lovely comment on the video, and I think it was the lunar eclipse video, and I really appreciate that. It's been a little bit of a time lately, you know, having Saturn. Saturn's been very depressing lately, I think. And while Saturn's not making any strong aspects in the sign of Pisces for me, it certainly is making aspects in the rest of my chart, especially the opposition to my Virgo energy. So it's had me really thinking. Plus, you know, my birthday's in a couple of weeks and I'm officially an old woman. Like literally, like if you Google it, I'm now the age of an old woman. I still can't wrap my head around that. You know what, Queen Leo, I think when we have anxiety in the chest area, you know, this is our heart chakra. I think we can be tasked a little bit because you rule the heart, right? Leo rules the heart. If you say to Spirit, thank you, I think this anxiety is giving me a call of some kind. I don't need the physical anxiety to receive the call or to receive the activation or to receive the information that is truest to my heart. You know, going through these transitions right now are extremely unsettling because even if the situation or the dynamics have been out of balance, at least we knew what the landscape was. Now everything, it's like the puzzle pieces have all been thrown up in the air and we're having to reassemble them. So what's up with you, Stephen? What did I miss? I have no planets in Gemini either, Mercury and Aquarius. Oh, that makes you a really forward thinker. I don't know what happened last Saturday. I missed that. Oh, good for you. Oh, you know, I want to offer this too, because as Venus moves into Scorpio, Stephen, this could be a false attachment to their opinion. And you know what? Some people just will fight for their opinion, even if they don't have ground to stand on. And that's what Mars in Cancer is right now, warring in the home. You know, so. All right. Oh, McKenna in the room. Hi, McKenna. Welcome from Spain. Yay. All right, everybody. And I want to offer this too. You know, you guys in your meditations, if you could call forth your angels to stoke up your inner peace, to know why, you know, on an intuitive level, why you decided to incarnate at this time in in world history. Forget American history, world history. Because I think if you start to connect, this is Neptune's influence right now. And it was very much Neptune and the moon were connected, conjunct during that last eclipse, meaning that full moon eclipse. So if y'all kind of can get yourselves to connect with, why would I choose to walk this path at this time? What does it have to benefit me? Where does it empower me? That focus is going to be really powerful. And I think it's going to be help move the story forward for those of us that are doing our best to stand in awareness. Okay. Yes, it's good evening in Spain. All right, let's start with our birthday Libras. Happy birthday, all my birthday people this week. Enjoy your solar return and setting intentions for it, you know, really allowing yourself that knuckling down. I also want to say this, because if your sun is in the early degrees of Libra, then you are conjunct the supergalactic center, which is about really identifying yourself as source energy. Okay, I know I'm going to drift off a little, so bear with me. Lucky is so funny because when he wants something, he will stare at me for hours. Or he'll go sit in the spot that he knows where he gets something, and he won't come off of it until he wins. And oftentimes he does win. And so I look at him and I go, you really are the king of the law of attraction. You really know that you are source energy. And when you put enough attention and stare at me long enough, he'll get what he wants. The universe is the same way. All right, Libra, here's your card. The Queen of Pentacles. Ah, I love it. This is very Capricorn energy. You can see the beautiful goats all over the place. You can see the prolific bunny. You can see that she's gazing ever so softly, you know, gently at what she has created. She is very focused on security, as is indicated by her red garb, but the undershirt that is white primarily is the purity of her heart, knowing that that is her true anchor. Let's see what we're doing in the way of our spread. Wow, 29 degrees Libra rising. That's very strong, 145 Club, because she has a very strong square to Pluto right now. And 29th degree is so powerful for me because the 29th degree really represents mastering that energy. So the Libra energy of diplomacy and balance and harmony for all. It's not just about partnership. I actually think Libra's not really about partnership at all. It's just the opportunities are represented through the dynamic of partnership. All right, here we go. Libra, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. The Queen of Pentacles is bringing something into the material world. It is usually benefit, but let's see. Well, we don't say let's see. We are intending that. Stephen, you're so funny. It really works because I literally feel like I could see like word bubbles coming at me with him. I know exactly which TREAT he wants. I know how he wants it delivered because he doesn't enjoy just getting them. He likes to hunt for them around the house. He loves to play H and S. And if I say the word, oh, he must be under the bed. He loves to play hide and seek. Loves to. Every day, 3 times a day. And I have to stop because he's a big fat balloon right now. And I have to get him lower his bloat level. All right, here we go. Welcome, Outer Spice. Good to see you again in the room. That's so lovely. All right, Libra, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Your first angel is Archangel Raphael. The second is Adriana, leading you towards the answer. Akasha is a teacher, also an ability to counsel others, which is so Libra. And then we have Isaiah, birthed of new things. Whoa. And of course, it's your solar return this week. I really hope all of you that have a birthday this week will really sit down. And I want to offer this as I shuffle. Writing down this year's spirit, I would like to experience blah, blah, blah. And it will feel like this when I enjoy that experience. And then take the alphabet. And if you are bilingual, use your multiple languages and write down for each letter of the alphabet an adjective that describes how it will feel when you achieve, experience, etc. It'll be such a powerful exercise for your solar return and also allow you to tap into the higher vibrations of the more challenging planets. So as 145 Club mentioned about her daughter being a late degree Libra rising, even if it's not her birthday yet, because I don't know when her birthday is, rising could be anytime, it would behoove her to do this exercise because there's that transformation of thought at the Leo degree, which is coming from my heart. Well, it'll, when the time is right, small, a new little boy, I want to say a little boy. I don't know why. A little boy dog will show up. I don't know if that's just habit for me. I felt lucky coming before he came. I knew he was going to be a boy. I knew that he was going to be, I don't want to say he was going to be gray because I don't know if I knew that. But anyway, let's get back. Libra. Archangel Raphael is being joined by the raven. That's magic. Adriana is being joined by the swan. We have Akasha being joined by the risk card, and Isaiah being joined by the wealth card. If I remember correctly, Libra, that would put Cancer as your 10th house. I think I'm right. Yeah. So that makes Gemini your 9th house. I say this because there is something about the timing of an epiphany, of an idea, of something is about to come into the material. And your job right now is to sort of allow for, I want to offer it this way. Archangel Raphael is a healer, ultimately a balancer, because there is no real experience that we are broken in. According to God, according to the universe, these are only opportunities for awareness, choice, etc., to believe a deeper part of ourselves. I feel like that Pluto square has been calling forth that for everybody. And anybody who's not a Libra, but has planets in Libra, then you've been experiencing the square to that planet, because the magic is now in the epiphany that it offers, that comes into the material world, that brings something back into balance. Because here is your opportunity to trust. We've got two birds in the beginning. One, it calls forth that more Plutonian energy. When we look at the raven, we kind of think of, a little more challenging energies. When we think of the swan, we think of the transformation to something beautiful, and that you're being led there. Now, here in the angel's advice is Akasha, the teacher, the ability to counsel others, and the risk here. I don't think that's your opportunity, Libra. I think your opportunity here is to trust spirit and to take that inner voice that sounds exactly like you when you're scared and nervous, and to trust that in a way with more ease. When we look at this queen, and all the queens have a water element to them. They have that maternal energy to them. Here we see water and earth come together to nourish. But there's always that little something underneath, whatever it is, the imprint from childhood, the natural ebb and flow of the human experience and the doubt there, because now is a time to give birth to new situations and to start to see your expansion. And I think potentially that now is a time to expand like it has never been before. There could be things that you have experienced over this last year. I mean, again, each Libra has various planets in different dynamics. Because if you've been experiencing Saturn in any way in Pisces, having that affect how you see your creativity, then now is a time to start to trust that the elements that the people, I'm being a little choppy. Let me be a little bit more clear. I've been wanting to find someone to help me to expand, to make the channel more modern and more fresh, and to expand my YouTube. But I have never found anybody that resonated with me. I found someone, she's 17. She's a client's daughter. I've known this client for a while. And I realized this little girl had to grow up before she would be available to me, before the timing would be right for this new venture and for the expansion. That's what I'm trying to talk about. I want to broaden the way you're thinking, because if indeed you've been struggling bringing something into the material up until now, it will come. But part of you is to understand or to surrender to a bit of the journey. That's where I'm going. Okay. On to our Scorpios, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Oh my goodness. Cats can multiply a little bit like rabbits, especially, because if there's just one Tom in the area, he'll get all the girls, and the girls all, for some reason, stray cats feel like they have more babies than other cats. I don't know why. Like they are able to have like 5, 7 cats, where a normal house cat, Anyway, all right, here we go. On to our Scorpios, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Your tarot card for the week is the 5 of Wands. This is traditionally competition. There are squabbles, and there's a sense of awkwardness. There's a sense of having ideas, and they're all clashing around, okay? So, because the Wands are always passion and ideas and fire of some kind. Let's see where we're going. As Venus enters your first house. Our first angel is Caressa. The second is Isabella. The third is Daniel. And the final is Teresa. So we know as a Scorpio rising, Taurus is your 7th house. We've got a retrograde of Uranus going on. Uranus is going to bring something you weren't expecting. I thought this was over. I thought we were done with this situation, this argument, this whatever the case may be. Because this is looking like it's time to put your history away in some way. Like, put that to bed. Some things can only be fixed so much. Caressa is being joined by the focus card. Isabella is being joined by Merlin. Daniel's being joined by the restriction card, and Teresa's being joined by the fire fairy. I want to say it this way: whether you're married and in a relationship or you're single, if you're a Scorpio, it's time to change your story. It's time to change your story about, pardon me, I just hit my knee. I need to get more comfortable. Yeah, it's because this is where I'm going with this. You could be, okay, so Scorpio is a fixed sign. Scorpio is really sensitive, okay? May not seem that way because Scorpio can be stingy. Scorpio can be like, I don't need you. But that's all a facade. It's all a facade. Scorpio really is very sensitive and can be very loving, but they want to be respected. So here, if you're sitting in an energy where there is arguments and there is people that are disrespecting you, you could have a moment. But now I think that Spirit is saying, allow whatever is coming to an end. And we just had a lunar eclipse. Focus on the new beginning. And if for some reason there are things happening in your 7th house, whether they be professional partnerships, marriage partnerships, that's the Taurus energy. The Taurus energy is also your self-worth. And there's a whole financial dynamic on that axis between Scorpio is other people's money, Taurus is the money you make for yourself. And, there's other elements. But if there's been struggles in some way, I feel like it's time to turn away from the struggle. Here's Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right. There's alchemy, justice, and balance. You cannot fix a problem by focusing in on the problem. The problem is the rear view mirror, and the solution is the windshield. So Spirit is saying that you're being restricted because you're in your history of partnership. You're in your history of what has been before, and Spirit's trying to open something up, meaning open up a new experience for you. And I want to offer this again because that 7th house has to do with harmony, peace, diplomacy. That 7th house is where policemen live, where people who uphold justice live, like lawyers, clergymen. And I don't mean the church. I mean justice guy, the guy that the stenographer's in there, the hear ye guy is in there. Because what I'm talking about is I want to focus away from partnership for a minute. I want to focus in on your outlook of creating peace for yourself rather than feeling competition. And with Venus moving into your 1st house, you might be feeling a little sense of, competition. Because here in the final position is the fire fairy, which is about passion. It's about optimism. It's about new ideas. And here is this worry card. And I feel like that worry card could be a push-pull between, the idea of being a very powerful sign, being a very intense sign, and yet a very sensitive sign. I think that Scorpio moon, and I think Scorpio in general, depending on your planets, is super intuitive, maybe the most intuitive sign of the whole zodiac. And that intuition can scare you. It can alert you when things have changed. It can alert you when there's a shift in your energy of a relationship or a dynamic. And then it can put you into that Mars-Pluto energy of wanting to push on it and wanting to figure it out and wanting to dig deep. I don't know. I think it's about letting that sit on the side of the road and focusing in on where you want to be moving forward. I think this is a call not to compete this week, or not to fight, not to argue. All right, let's go on to our Sagittarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. I think you killed the room with that comment with Diddy. That's Pluto's transit without a doubt. That is, here we are revisiting things, so the darkness in all areas is being exposed. The lack of balance, it's just the way it's gonna. There's so many areas that this is gonna pop up in. I'm not surprised. Okay, Sagittarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. All right. Oh well, this is very nice. You have Venus, the Empress. This is beautiful energy. She's very relaxed. The thing about the Empress is that she understands that all of her wealth comes from her connection to the stars. Her crown is the stars. Her scepter is up by her mind, what she listens to. And she understands that there's a certain amount of of give and take as we create. So here she is. She knows that she had to plant the wheat. She had to wait for it to grow, and she trusted that the universe would give her everything she needs. Let's look and see where we're going with this Empress energy. She also rules money, fertility, I don't think it's even I think it's just that's the nature of the stars right now, is to bring up this imbalance. And if you think about it, the United States is knee deep in a Pluto return. Oh boy. And it has the United States also has an opposition to the 8th house with Capricorn, where Mercury is, and there's all these, that's all the assault on children. Anyway, I've looked at some charts and stuff. I just don't want to go down the political rabbit hole too much here. I just don't think it's a good idea. All right, Sagittarius, your first angel is Archangel Raphael. The second is Seraphina, which is the opportunity for happy families. Teresa's about not worrying about other people so much. And then there's Victory. Archangel Raphael is being joined by the birth and rebirth card. Seraphina is being joined by the mystery card. Pardon me. Teresa's being joined by the swan. And Omega is being joined by the earth fairy. Okay, I'm still choking. I don't know if I can talk right now. Sorry. Let me step away for 1 second. I think I'm okay now. Sorry. Whew. That was weird. Okay. Soldier through. Archangel Raphael is here. Hope he fixes my voice. This is a birth and the rebirth card. Something is very much changing. And I want to offer this. Venus just moved into your 12th house, Sagittarius. And as Venus hits that Shapley attractor, it's going to trigger old wounds of attachments to things. And I think that this rebirth is an epiphany for you. The epiphany comes in the choice to be a peacemaker. Step away from those that drive you nuts. Don't engage. It's not worth it. This is a very polarizing time. Mars is in Cancer. That is going to be it's all the way through the election. So, it's bound to come up things that people disagree about, because the real transformation comes for you as you just you got to step away. Don't worry about other people. And then there's a victory, because I want to offer this. I literally think, okay, so I start choking in my throat chakra, which is the voice. My voice is not being heard. Stephen just mentioned he was arguing with his brother-in-laws. His voice was not heard. Archangel Raphael represents a healing of the physical body. The earth fairy represents the physical body and victory. I really think if you want to be happy and you want to feel mental peace of mind right now, don't rub up against the people who are not aligned to your way of thinking. And most of us can identify those people that matter to us. And as we sort of take that, it's not a high road. It's just not, it's taking this ease. And I think it's also, in some respects, releasing false attachments this week. And I want to offer it this way. The false attachment may be the need for validation, not even for someone to agree with you, but just to offer you, yes, I hear you, let me do, and it may not work out that way. So your victory comes keeping your blood pressure down, grounding yourself. And when I say grounding yourself, I literally mean like taking a moment, lay on the lawn, put your feet in some earth substance, something of natural substance, and set your intentions. Because I think there could be some weird, and I hate to use the word release, but I almost feel like there could be a release of some kind. Like you have these thoughts in your head and you're just sort of mulling them over. And then it's like, oh, that guy's always been like that. He's never going to change being like that. What am I doing? Why am I fighting with this guy? Oh, is it your dad? Is your dad still here, Stephen? God, I hope so. Fingers crossed. Happy birthday, Dad. All right, let's move on. I think my voice is finally coming back. Oh, there we go. My goodness, I was having a real moment. He's 90. Wow. I'm telling you, I love my grounding fitted sheet. It's really changed my whole life since I bought it. I love the way my body feels so much better. All right, we're going on to our Capricorns. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Your card is the Six of Pentacles. This is a very interesting card because I think this has come up quite a bit lately. This is the have or have not card. And oftentimes the tarot readers will look and say, well, you don't know whether you're a have or a have not. But to me, it's very clear because the scales of justice sit on the guy who's wearing the blue tunic or the blue robe. And I think that's because he talks a lot about poverty. Talks a lot about his problems. And then we see the other beggar who is, or maybe we should say I don't know, no, the other beggar, we'll leave it there. And he's focused on what he wants. And I feel like that's why he's getting the money. That's evidenced through the orange robe. And of course, our benefactor wearing this, oh, here we go. This is more evidence. Okay, do you see how the benefactor is wearing the red robe, but underneath it is the blue and white tunic? The blue represents the throat chakra, the voice, what you speak of every single day. This guy who's not getting his money, wait, got to find my fingers. Where am I? This guy that's not getting any money is because he's not speaking that of which brings benefit. The guy who's getting the money is this guy over here. He speaks of benefit, and that's why and how we know the benefactor is giving the money to the guy, why he's giving the money to the guy. We also see that the benefactor is wearing green boots. That's the heart chakra. That's exactly it, Stephen. The voice, the voice of the individual, the voice of America is being suppressed right now in many ways, not just governmentally, but within our own families, within our own friend circles. When we know that people disagree with us, you're walking through challenging, a landmine field right now. So I want to offer this stuff for my Capricorns. I think it's very important to keep your speech, keep your mind, keep your heart on what it is you want, rather than looking at the problems, looking at the challenges. Pluto in those last degrees, and if you are a late degree Capricorn rising, this could be, it could be a real epiphany for you, because this sense of awareness is powerful, really powerful. Some of that truth that's being exposed is very, very dark. And that's Pluto. That's not just Pluto's transit, it's Neptune as well. It's Pluto sextiling Neptune, and then Neptune sextiling Uranus is that background noise that's bringing up the deep, dark imbalance. Because I don't want to get too crazy, but we very much as Americans, and I don't know about the rest of the world, we focus a lot on the color of skin, and this skin is good and that skin is bad. And now what we're seeing is that bad people come in all colors and good people come in all colors. And even people who have been oppressed tend to oppress their own people for reasons, who knows, power. Everybody wants power, but the power doesn't come from asserting it onto others. It comes from your own self-assertion. Okay, here we go. It's such a scary. I'm so glad I'm mature. I was gonna say an old woman, but I really am. I'm so glad my teenage years and my 20s and my 30s were not up for recording. You couldn't record anything back then. You could barely have an answer machine. And thank you, God, that I don't have to have those pictures exposed. Jeez Louise. I was such a shit show in my youth. Not that I'm not a little bit of a shit show now, but it's that good shit. All right, here we go, Capricorn, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay, Celeste, a new home or a new place of employment is in work. Yes, the timing is right. Mystique says keep charging ahead. And then we have Vanessa, faith or fear. Now, y'all know that Celeste for me is not always about a physical move. It's more about a shift in the way I'm thinking. And I go back to the 6. Oh. Oh, isn't it so nice that it was before we could really, embarrass ourselves? Geez, when I think my memories are embarrassing enough, I'm so glad I don't have to see it, out there somewhere. Oh, the amount of tears I shed as a young woman, I could feel rivers and rivers. Okay, Celeste for our Capricorns is being joined by the love card. Definitely a shift in the way you're thinking. Isabella is saying, or is being joined by the Lady of the Lake, absolute truth, courage, and digging deep. For my Capricorns, that's one of the challenges is you have so much obligatory energy and so much energy of duty and responsibility and leadership and following the rules that it could really mess you up. Mystique is being joined by the horse. That's 2 horses. And then we have the birth and the rebirth card. Okay, I want to offer this because when we look at Capricorn rising, we're looking at Aquarius as your 2nd house. And I really think that that's very powerful because that's where you use your skills, your unique expression. You co-rule both your 1st and 2nd house, which is really kind of magnificent. But part of it is harnessing yourself as a co-creator and really stepping into your passion. And I think that's evidenced by Celeste and the love card. Now let's talk a little bit about the idea that we have the sun going into its fall. We have Venus in detriment. We have Mars in fall. Some of the other planets could be challenging. And depending upon where that's happening in your chart, I know it's happening for Capricorn, but right now I can't go through the whole chart. This is an opportunity for you to discern what you love and to have the courage. And now is the time. Pluto has been calling forth this renovation of how you operate. And in some ways, if for some reason you are the benefactor, you don't have to be one of the beggars, then it's really about following things that align to your heart, supporting people that align to your heart. Mystique and the horse are both charging ahead and expecting miraculous solutions in the way that you shift how you're thinking. This is a very Sagittarian energy for me, the horse. I always see it as, I see it as this opportunity to shift my beliefs. Now we think of Capricorn, Sagittarius is your 12th house. So this is an opportunity to shift and to go into new directions, not just in your belief system, but in how you make money. You know, you could be inadvertently tapping into some old talents and skills that you have in your Sagittarius energy because it represents your soul's history. And now you being brave enough to start to allow for that shift in the way you're thinking, to allow yourself to do work that you love. And now you have a whole new rebirth, as evidenced by Pluto's transit through your first house and Vanessa offering you faith over fear. So I think that's really powerful because you do rule fear, but fear is where empowerment and achievement and ambition are realized. You walk through something you don't think you can do, you do it. It's the biggest excitement in your life, and you'll remember it forever. All right, on to our Aquariuses, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. All righty. Oh, this is lovely. This is the Nine of Cups. Now, you know, I'm all about I see all sorts of intricacies in all of the cards. And this one particularly, I see this very large blue curtain that surrounds this character who's very satisfied. His cups are all lined up. They're not full yet, but they're all lined up, and he's ready for the next stage. If we go back to the idea of the benefactor here wearing a blue and white tunic, now we see a blue and white tunic. He is talking about what he loves. And this is also evidenced by this blue curtain. So very much he's focused in on, I know what I want. I know how to get it. I know it starts with me sitting here and connecting with spirit. And then as I do, all the emotional cups will line up so that I will be inspired by each step that I take. Very exciting. Let's look and see where we're going, Aquarius, because this here we go again. Pluto moving into your first house could very much, you know, the first thing that happens could be like, I can no longer be controlled or feel a sense of dominance over me. It could be a very rebellious feeling. Okay, our first angel for Aquarius is Layla. The second is Patience. The third is Fiona. And the final is Shanti. Okay, the first thing, I think it's about sitting in this energy of satisfaction, you know, a rest before the next lap. All right, we're going to the store, everybody. I think we're going to walk out with more than dish soap. What do you think? All right, here we go. Aquarius, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Oh, we got the dog. I love that. We got the joined Layla. We have the wealth card joining Patience. We have the frog joining Fiona. And we have Shanti being joined by the owl. Aquarius, this is very kind of exciting, honestly, because Spirit is very much encouraging you to spend time talking about what you love, what you want, where you've been maybe, and where you want to go. More so where you want to go. Then we have this Patience card and the wealth card. This to me is an inventory. This feels like, because, you know, this is the thing about Aquarius. It rules very large systems. It rules future hopes and dreams. It rules the cosmic consciousness, the nervous system, the internet. And there could be this sense of, because I always get a lot of quick energy when I think about Aquarius, like a rocket shooting off into space. And there could be a sense of, oh, dear God, okay, I've got this done. I need to move on to the next thing right now. And I think that this is really about taking an inventory of why you're satisfied up until now. I started this saying the cups are lined up, but now there's almost a moment to allow for inspiration to take you into the next right action to manifest. Now we see the frog releasing emotional baggage. We see Fiona saying that she is here, that God and the angels have have the baton in their hand, okay? Because now that you ask God and the angels for help, be open to receiving, and that wanting to take action right away can mess that up. Now is the time to enjoy a bit of peace and tranquility, because you will soon get a new idea, and that idea, or wherever the next step is almost a double-edged sword. Because when I look at the owl, it tells me that in order to fill these cups for you, Aquarius, you're going to have to risk something. You'll see the potentials, like, oh my God, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I'm going to have to make my own money, and I'm going to have to worry about where the next, there's no paycheck coming in. And with that idea, at the same time, you more than anyone is predisposed to look to the future and to bet on your genius. So here you go. Now I want to offer this too, because a lot of people get super scared when Pluto makes a transit, but Pluto's transit is always initially a little toxic, but it's because there's stuff in your system, whatever your system, in your universe, your personal universe, that actually gets to be removed. And most of the time, you already know what it is. All right, on to our Pisces, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay, here we go. Pisces. Oh, the Tower. This is interesting. This is always, for me, Uranus. I never see Mars. I know a lot of tarot card readers see Mars, but Uranus is cold, out in space. The crown is being toppled by lightning. Uranus rules lightning. This was an unexpected event. There's an act of rebellion going on here. Couldn't be more Uranian to me. I don't see Mars at all. I know Mars is a warrior, but not here. Mars is like the next team to come in. This is that initial lightning strike. Let's see what's happening. So if this is Uranus, I wonder if it has something to do with your third house. Because, here we are thinking about the third house rules how you think, how you speak, how you interact with other people. Workmates, teammates, your neighborhoods. All right, the media. Ariel is our first angel, and then that's followed up by Aurora. They flew out together. We have Merlina, and then we have Isaiah. So Ariel's always about the connection to spirit. Oh yeah, Uranus is the tarot card in your chart, wherever that is. Mine is in Leo. So I always have unexpected and very short-lived Leo energy. Here you get on a drift. All right, we have Ariel and the risk card joining each other. Pisces, if anybody really, I want to offer this, because Pisces rising can be very challenging, because I feel like that first house of self and that Aries underbelly wants to charge out and discover itself. And then the Pisces energy is, oh no, I just want to swim back to spirit and just dream away in my world. And it can be very challenging. So we have this risk card is actually getting into a bigger connection with, now this is Saturn also transiting your first house, creating a very strong connection to spirit, so that as things shift unexpectedly, you will be more emotionally, spiritually prepared for them. We have Aurora offering you an opportunity to let go of fear. And that fear really is more about how things, because again, fear to me is the reason the soul actually comes to this earth. I know it sounds insane, but every time you're scared about something and you conquer it, this feeling of achievement is beyond measure. And, it could be anything from a dream to an illness to, setting a goal for yourself. Because I think this is really powerful for my Pisces, because this sort of letting go card is being willing to push your creativity out into the world. Aurora says you're flying high right now. Don't descend. Continue on, even if you're being opposed in some way, or Saturn is repressing something. If you have personal planets in, like Mercury in Pisces in the first house, it could be affected by Saturn right now, which would mean that your viewership would go down on your internet. Not your internet, but if you create content, you could see less people joining in, but don't let that get under your skin. Merlina is in the angel's advice, and here's the optimism and creative action. I feel like right now Merlina could represent the confusion that comes from this unexpected Tower card. And yet at the same time, I feel like something good is coming, that there could potentially be an idea that lifts you above where you are. Let me give you a quick pass by the snack aisle. What do you want, Steven? Some Fritos, some chocolate bars. But let me say this, because for my Pisces, there's a new beginning coming, and it's still gestating. Okay, it's here with Isaiah. And the frog is the releasement of emotional baggage. And I think that could be some fear. When we think about the Pisces energy, there's an invisibility. It's the house of the self-undoing, of self-troubles, of the unconscious, of those things that sit beneath us that tether us to a small little bit of ourselves. And so here, something could happen, an epiphany, and then you choose to risk a bigger picture, that you sort of realize that fear is something I must walk through if I want to get to the other end of that experience. And Spirit's saying, just stay optimistic right now on some level. You can't, and the optimism comes from this. When we look down a road and we try to see, how will I get there? Pisces, you won't ever get there with your eyes. You're a fish, okay? You can't necessarily see clearly. So this is about feeling it, intending it, and allowing the magic of that epiphany to manifest in the physical. Okay, welcome, DJ. It's good to see you in the room. Funyuns. Oh, there's an exercise in swollen feet for me. You can bet I even look at the Funyuns bag and my body starts pulsating in inflammation. I'm like a salt lick. I did find these yummy plantains that give me a sort of a feeling of chips. It's really, okay, let me just jump up for a second and interrupt myself like I always do. The more you connect with the spirit inside of yourself, the more you're not going to be able to handle dense things like Funyuns and Fritos and dairy and meat that has been raised poorly. You're cleaning up your food system, putting a little bit more emphasis on eating as clean as you can. This does not mean you cannot enjoy potato chips, but you might have to learn how to make your own so you don't get the chemicals involved with the rest of them. That's what I'm trying to say. Or you buy a little bit more expensive of something, because the more you connect with the soul within you, the less that dense, nasty, toxic energy your body won't be able to tolerate it. All right, here we go. This is for our Aries. I forgot where it was. I talked too much. Everybody knows it already, so I don't feel bad. I love it. Now, this is a little bit challenging. This Aries energy this is a self-made person. The person who, has taken time, has created their own dynamic. They're very focused. Venus is here. There's money, but there's also a kind of sense of loneliness. There is there's a sense of, this is one of those things when you see on the, like on Instagram where they go, a woman who spends time alone is secure within herself. She's been hurt, but now she knows, blah, blah. You know that story. This is the 9 of Earth, the 9 of Pentacles. She's self-sufficient, but there's a sense of isolation around her. So let's see where we're going for our Aries. I totally with you, Small, the cleaner. And I actually can know what my body will let me do. I bought some macaroni and cheese, fancy macaroni and cheese. And I literally had to put 3/4 of it in the freezer. and I could have just a little bit of it. And I knew my body, before I even took the first bite, my body was going, oh, this is going to hurt. All right, Aries. Sorry, I just have a lot of sidebars. I'm not focused. I used to be focused, at least in my mind. I'm not sure if I really was ever. DJ, is it your birthday? Happy birthday. Oh, there's so much. That's Mars in Cancer, DJ. That's all that friction. It's exhausting. I, too, am totally exhausted lately. And I'm worried because the days are getting shorter, and I'm afraid I'm going to be in bed at 4:30 pretty soon. All right. Aries, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Happy birthday on the 20th. Oh, we have victory in the form of Omega. Yay. Chantal. Ooh, the angel of romance. Wow. Okay, here we go. We have Isabella. Yes, the timing is right for this. And then we have Layla talking about what do you want? Now, I just got done saying that this woman is all self-made and she's feeling a little isolated. Maybe our Aries would like to commingle their energy with another a little bit. I love my bed. And since I bought my fitted grounding sheet, I don't know how many of you I've told, but this is the best thing I have ever purchased in my whole life, including my La Creuset cookware. Go to Amazon. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that here, and look up fitted grounding sheet. Sleep on that thing for one night and you will feel like a new human. I swear, I'm telling you. It's a little pricey. I think for a queen, it's like $125. But I tell you, it's the best thing I ever bought in my life. And it has literally taken away my restless leg syndrome, my bad feet. Amazing. So everybody, treat yourself. Omega for our Aries is being joined by the risk card. Chantal is being joined by the partnership card. That's interesting. Isabella is being joined by the high priestess, and Layla is being joined by the queen. Very interesting. Okay, Aries. Omega says there's victory here. Victory is in the form of taking a risk, and that risk. I'm gonna be a little funny right now, okay? Because I literally gonna tell you little Aries story. Sometimes when you love something too much, or you love it from fear, or you love it because you think, oh my God, you're the greatest thing, or it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Oh my God, I love it so much. And then it starts to stoke a fear inside of you. It starts to be like, oh my God, I hope it doesn't go away. I hope it doesn't go away. Aries, you could be feeling you've done everything yourself for so long, and you get an opportunity to feel connected in some way. And I say connected because I'm not sure the partnership card is exclusively romantic, but it could potentially be. Because Aries, I want to offer this. If indeed you're not connected, you could have an opportunity, but I want to offer it this way. This isn't about changing who you are. This is about being exactly who you are, male or female, just owning who you are. Because here, Isabella's saying, yes, the timing is right. And this high priestess makes me feel like there's a contract of some kind. Now let's talk about Aries, the idea that Neptune is going to move into your first house in March, I think, of 2025. That's going to bring a whole bunch of energy. And maybe some people will say, oh, it's so erosive. You're going to feel loss. And there's the potential of that. But it also could be where you click into that peaceful spiritual warrior in a way you never have before. Because I think we see this queen here and we see Layla. I think very much that Aries wants to receive connection. Aries is known as the, I can do it on my own. I'm me. And there's part of it that's very true. But there's also a part that it's not fun to achieve without, people to applaud your achievements. And here I think there's an opportunity for Aries to start to capitalize on Chiron's transit, to start to look at how that transit is affecting it's going to hit Chiron's going to hit my rising. It's already gone over my south node. And I really intend for that to be the gift versus the wound. And as an Aries rising, I know it's important for me to very much be able to risk believing that things can happen that I can't see with my eyes, but I can intend. So there's an opportunity coming. And if for some reason love trickles across your path, I want to offer this. I think this is a real opportunity to be aware of, not only do you want that, but in wanting it, maybe it's not about being too Aries about it. It's about like allowing it to sort of grow and sort of get, I see the snail and I feel that sense of calm and sort of allowing this sort of, I don't know, getting to know you process. I don't know how to say it that way. Oh, my Queen Leo, you will love it so much. And you made a pot of soup. I too have soup that I am putting on the stove. Steve and I was feeling the same way. And Small, I think we were all kind of feeling a little draggy after that eclipse. It was really weird. You know, the other weird thing that happened during that eclipse? I'm going to move on to Taurus now. I walked outside to do Lucky's last little pee of the night. So the eclipse was like at 7:46 here. And I walked just around the little in front of the building, and this woman was sitting in her car watching the eclipse, and she stopped me. I don't even know why she stopped me. And we started having a whole astrology conversation. And I was telling her all this stuff. It was so funny. Let me see. Wait, where am I? Is somebody that likes things done yesterday? Oh, Teri. Yes, I am very, I do like to get things done, but I'm also very lazy. I have a Venus ruled sun and a Venus ruled moon. I'm very lazy, actually. You know what I like soup? Soup has there's a maternal feel for me. And when I'm feeling melancholy or I feel like, I need self-nurturing, I just want to smell the soup in my house. I like to smell. It's also why I like to make black beans. I make the best black beans. And the smell in my house makes me feel like somebody's cooking for me and they love me. I'm a really weird person. I'll admit it. I've been alone too long. All right, let's go to our Taurus's rising moon, sun, and ooh, something's going to happen quick. There's going to be something. Now we know Uranus is the soup Nazi. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, you're so funny. Okay, Taurus, this 8 of Wands is endings, news, and conclusions. I absolutely think that these wands are going towards the ground because we see all the foliage is at the tip that's heading towards the ground. It definitely infers something very quick. Let's see what's happening. You know what else I think is funny is you get this idea of quick, but you could be waiting forever for the change. We also know that Uranus is moving through your first house, and it's retrograde right now. So you're revisiting some things that, there could be an epiphany. Who knows? Let's see where we're going. Taurus, our first angel is Crystal. Have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon. Isaiah says new beginnings are coming. Yay. Archangel Michael is looking for courage to make changes. And Akasha is the counselor. We have Crystal being joined by the forgiveness card. We have Isaiah being joined by the king. We have Archangel Michael being joined by the love card. And then we have Akasha being joined by the frog. When I first saw this spread, I thought to myself, even though the 8 of Wands infers something quick, it made me feel as if the something quick was really something that's been going on for a long time, but suddenly something's starting to wrap up. Eclipse season. Crystal is saying have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon. And then there's the forgiveness card. That forgiveness card for me is never about real forgiveness because people do the same over and over again. They go, oh, sorry. And I just feel like I don't want to say anything like I shouldn't name names, but there's people I could name. Like, you could even ask them. You could say, I need this from you right now. And they'll be like, sorry. They just can't give it to you because this is where I'm going. The king could infer a man, but I actually think it's inferring justice of some kind. and a new beginning of some kind for my Taurus moons. I believe that something's wrapping up, something that has maybe been annoying. When you have Uranus going through your first house, Uranus is going to pull stuff out of the stars that you can't even, you can't even figure it out. Okay. It's going to be thrown at you. And if there's anything a Taurus hates, it's something unexpected. I want to be prepared, blah, 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 blah. This Archangel Michael is saying, you're going to love this change. And it's been in the works for a while. And I feel a little bit like I got to trust it. I got to trust the change. There's been this weird, creepy feeling. I have no intentions of moving, none whatsoever. And yet there's a weird feeling that there's a location change coming for me somehow. I don't know. I don't think it's coming right now, but I just don't know what's going on. I just feel it in the back of my little head. Now, I'll surrender to whatever, because something is coming, and the Akasha and the frog tell me that Spirit is giving you an experience, Taurus, that is going to anchor in your future. Something that you want that you may not have experienced up until now. You may even start to give up on it. I don't know. And yet something, I think that this could very much be information. And I want to offer this too, because when I look at Crystal in the forgiveness card, and this feels like I bet on something that had no physical evidence of truth or manifestation, meaning I don't know if I will actually be able to get that, or if this is actually true, I'm capable of this, but yet I feel like you have been, you are, and now it's time to start to acknowledge that too. Start to really take that in. Because when I look at Akasha, the spiritual teacher, I don't think that you're a spiritual teacher, but I think that your inner voice and your personality are somehow starting to integrate. And so you're starting to trust something from a deeper level. And that's part of the practice that you've been doing, of sowing the seeds and building this trust with your divinity. And we all have divinity inside of us. Even if we think people are evil, they still have divinity inside of them. Okay, onward to our Geminis, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Really, Gemini, your planet is about, meaning your Jupiter is about to go retrograde in your first house. It's going to bring up some stuff. And I think it's going to be good, because to me, again, this is where I feel like an integration of the big concepts and the short bits of information that come at me, and a discernment between the two. Let's see what the card is. The Queen of Discernment. I love it. This is our Libra energy. This is, again, water and air together, sort of giving me wings to fly. We see that the winds of change are blowing, and this woman is calling forth, this queen is calling forth fairness, justice, diplomacy. Did you know that Mercury rules diplomacy? Democracy, I should say, not diplomacy. Diplomacy is Libra. I got my D's mixed up. Democracy. Very interesting. Let's see where we're going for our Geminis. Because Jupiter rules the DOJ. It rules all those big governmental, beneath the president, our three branches of government: executive, justice, and legislative departments. Was she keeping them under lock and key from you? All right, here we go. Gemini. Layla is about spending time with your intentions. Archangel Gabriel is your archangel. Communications. There's Shanti, the angel of peace. And then there's Astera, reaching for the stars with a bigger picture of what you want. So Gemini, Pisces is your 10th house of career. And there's a lot of that Saturn energy is really, because Saturn rules the 10th house. So for all the other signs, Saturn going through Pisces is tough, but for you, it might be just a little bit tougher because Saturn's holding your feet to the fire. I'm in the house that I own, even if it is a different landscape. And I say that because I feel like Layla and this queen are not asking you to think about what you can do, what you see you can do, but rather what you would prefer, what's to your heart there, or what you fear. There's the fear card joining Layla, Archangel Gabriel, and the emotional water fairy, Shanti, and the victorious bee, Astera, and the frog again. The frog is coming up in many of our final positions, offering us an opportunity to leap from one idea to another, meaning, oh, I get this, it no longer serves me. Layla and the fear card are very interesting because I think literally this is about turning your fears over to God and the angels. And if we think about Gemini, there is this I want to put it this way. When we look at the house of career, when we look at the house of public status, when we look at your Pisces energy and Saturn going through that, it could be, there could feel a lot of repression from outside sources that are keeping you held down, either financially or for moving forward and expanding. And at the same time, I think that this is about, asking spirit for the wisdom with a balance of my fears, because Archangel Gabriel is very much encouraging you to turn over your insecurities. And then the water fairy infers to me a connection to spirit, that my emotional body, there's certain things throughout my whole life, and I have memories literally from being a toddler, from crawling around on the floor. I used to have this weird instinct to go to my gut and ask myself if something was true or false. And I remember it mostly during the weird Hillside Strangler days when I was a teenager and there were all these weird serial killers around plucking teenage girls up and doing terrible things. And I say that because I always was reassured by that connection. So here, I think that's what God is offering you, is peace and victory through your connection to spirit and your constant conversation about, I've got this concern and I want you to give me evidence in the material world so I can calm my mind down. Because Astera is saying to reach for the stars with your dreams and desires, and the frog is offering you an opportunity to start to feel that as we move from one experience to another. And I feel like that experience could be twofold. It could literally be a physical experience, but more than likely, it's sort of something coming to a conclusion that brings a sense of justice. Oh, my fear about this was holding me back. Now I feel brave enough to step into the arena. And as a result of that, I experience something that then inspires me to move to the next level. Teachers are just human beings that have a job, just like doctors are human beings that have a job. Always use the powers of discernment for every piece of information you hear, including everything I say. Teachers are part of a system, at least in the United States. The schools get paid for attendance. There's all these checks and balances that are not, we're not allowed to be altruistic in our being anymore. And I think that's part of why Pluto's transit through the United States' second house of self-worth is so powerful, because it's giving us an opportunity to recalibrate some of the systems that we built upon and reframe them. All right, here we go. Cancer, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. This is a card of contemplation, literally looking at what you've created and deciding what the next step is. And I think this is why, pardon me while I interrupt myself, I love Robert F. Kennedy. I love his platform. I love what he's talking about, Make America Healthy Again and Big Pharma. I'm really excited about some of the things he wants to implement, and I pray to God he gets an opportunity. All right, Cancer, I want to offer this too, because Mars is transiting through your first house. And as Mars transits through your first house, I feel like you might try to dumb down being pissed off. You might try to, hey, just call me C. You might be like, I don't like the angry emotions. I don't like to be assertive. I don't like to be harsh. There are times when it's appropriate. I love my dog more than anything on this planet, but I loved him too much. And when I started being like, you know what, you can't have a treat every time you want it. You can't. He started to like me more, honestly. He started to be more of a really good dog. He wouldn't just sit there and stare at me when I called him. He would actually come. So I kind of feel like this is a contemplation for my Cancers about, assessing a situation and how it's growing. I have given, okay, DJ, I got to tell you this. I have to bring this up, okay? Because I have given away so much stuff lately. Like literally, there's a person, and I've given them a cabinet. I've given them so much kitchen stuff. And while I asked, do you want this? This person goes, yes, please. They never have said thank you. Not one time. And it's so bizarre to me because it seems so now, oh, thank you for the pan. Thank you for the cabinet. Thank you for literally I've given this person like 12 things, like a whole kitchen full of stuff. And I look at it and I say, do I need thanks from that person? Don't pay for anyone's teeth, DJ. You know what? If you give too much, people take advantage. Honestly, care credit. Tell her she can get care credit. I really, I got to tell you, I'm not a generous woman. But when I give money to you, I'm do it through inspiration. So, yeah, because teeth then she may be having a crazy Saturn transit. That's very interesting. And I wonder if that person is a drug addict. They have problems with drugs at some point because drugs will ruin your teeth. All right. Sorry, Cancer. Here we go. Isaiah, new beginnings. Crystal, have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon. Layla is talking about contemplation. And then we've got Grace and Antoinette, compassion. Ooh, wow. This could be self-compassion because you got some fire under your butt, pardon my language, and you want to express it. Oh, okay. Isaiah is being joined by the Love card. Crystal's being joined by Merlin. Layla's being joined by the Wind Fairy. And Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the Horse. For my Cancers, when I look at this energy of the Seven of Pentacles, yes, it is a Earth card. And there are, you could potentially have built something in the earth plane, but look at the character. His tunic is orange. The underbelly here is blue. His boots are kind of orangey brown. He's very invested in what he's creating and creating a sense of security for himself. Now, Isaiah says it's time to start to contemplate the things you've done that have fostered love. And I mean not just love to another person. I mean love like as a general term, because Crystal is saying that have faith and hope. There's something coming. Something's manifesting. And now it's time to look a little deeper about what you want from that manifestation. Okay? So let me offer it this way. Crazy, I'm going to say it. Oh man, I'd love to win $1 million. And then you will win $1 million and you're like, damn, I should have asked for $10 million. That's what I'm saying. Because here, what I think this is about is your belief system. What I think this is about is your willingness your willingness to say, I deserve to. Your willingness to say, I count. And I think maybe Mars's transit could bring arguments within your first house with other people. And maybe they've been expecting you to be how you've always been. But you're like, I'm done with that, man. I need to assert myself a little bit more on what I want. Because I think this is having compassion for the self as your beliefs have changed. And as you've thought, I want to move in a different direction than I've been moving in. And that could be something that's emotional, but it could also be something physical where you want to assert yourself into your own sense of achievement. And, there's other things and dynamics maybe going around and people are concerned about it. But I think if you contemplate it, spirit will start to open a space to give life to that idea. And now it's about having compassion with yourself as you move in that direction. Okay. Oh, DJ, a Leo with Virgo moon and a Virgo north node, it might be a little bit hard because the sense of Virgo, and she's having that Saturn opposition to her moon. So she's asked to get real about the things she's creating and how she's, with the process she's going through. Oh, little grasshopper, are you in the room? Where is she? I don't see her. I know who little grasshopper is. Hi, little grasshopper. Welcome to the room. Okay. That's because they're very dependable, those Virgo people on some level. Let me offer you this, because the challenging side of Virgo is being very critical and very perfectionist. And if for some reason this woman has been going back and forth in a relationship, there could be a challenge of wanting and needing love and then being critical of her love, object of love. And if her teeth are doing something, maybe she's, it has something to do with how she's biting life. I don't know. All right. We've got 2 more signs to go. We are on our Leos. Speaking of Leos, I am loyal to, and I have Venus and Pluto in Virgo, so I can be a little bit, critical, but also I want to offer this. There's transformation there. Again, everything that we feel kind of has a tendency to hold us back is also the thing that has the biggest opportunity to inspire us forward. So we're going to turn that frown upside down. Here we go. Leo, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. We got celebration. Now, Leo loves a celebration. Now, I want to offer this because when I look at the red and the blue tunics and the white underneath, there's a subtle difference, right? Because we see this red tunic and the white is more hidden. It's just at the bottom. But in the blue tunic, we see the white is much more prevalent. The celebration here for me feels like I've established a stronger relationship with my voice. And I'm aware of my physical needs. And yet those physical needs are supported by my spiritual dynamic. In the tarot, the white color and the white and gray is always representing purity of some kind. And we see purity within spirit. So what are we going to celebrate? Okay. Leo, our first angel is Bridget, looking deeper into a situation before proceeding further. Rosetta is all about child rearing, about guiding children, teaching children, parenting children. It's also about your inner child. We have Shanti, the angel of peace, being offered. And then we have Maya, the angel of schooling and education. And I want to offer this because as my Leos, you could inadvertently look at a situation for, that's what it is. Oh, now I'm going to have that song stuck in my head. And it's not Madonna. It's the Pointer Sisters, isn't it? Celebrate good times. Come on. I think that's the Pointer Sisters. I don't know. I might be wrong. Or Sister Sledge, something like that. Wrong song, Teri. Which one is he singing? Pointer Sisters is better. Okay, I don't know. If Madonna's got an album out, I haven't heard Madonna sing anything in 100 years. So, all right. The cow, nourishment, abundance, asking and receiving. That's where we're starting. I would have to. I got to really look. I don't know. Remember a Madonna song that started with "Celebrate" or was I don't. I need the lyrics. Okay, Bridget is being okay. So there's reason to celebrate if you look deeper into what is coming and going. That didn't make sense, but I'll clarify it in a minute. We have the Wealth card and Rosetta joining in the opportunity, the obstacle. We have Shanti and the Letting Go card and the Angel's Advice. And then we have the Eagle joining Maya. For my Leo risings, this is what I want to say. This, you know, I want to offer it this way because I just interrupted myself. So Leo rising, Aquarius, 7th house. Pluto is now in your 6th house of enslavement, okay? And giving you an opportunity to sort of recognize the human structures that we must walk through. And at the same time, I think this is about celebrating an awareness that you can now see deeper than how you looked before. Meaning this, I have this inherent ability to dig into somebody's psychology, to go in and know, oh, no, they're not operating over here. They're operating on a fear over here. That's just how I'm hardwired. I think it's my Mercury and Neptune and Scorpio. For my Leos, I think what Spirit is saying is the celebration comes from your ability to take a minute to look a little bit deeper into motives, dynamics, how an ability to give and receive, and your ability to open up to that idea. Rosetta and the Wealth card feel as if this is an expansive energy, and it's twofold because, of course, Leo rules children, the conception of children, but it also rules the inner child here. And this inner child wants expansion, and the expansion comes from recognizing my fears and understanding. Okay, I've got Madonna in song in my head. I got it. I got it. Okay, and now I'm distracted. My poor Leos. I apologize. But here, so this fear card, Shanti's peace, the letting go card is walking away from fear, but I'm not walking away from it because I'm afraid of it. I have a wisdom about it. It's the song from Frozen. It's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. This is Spirit been giving you an education on looking deeper into a situation. And I think that this is really about you as an individual, that potentially your childlike innocence is expanding on some level and giving you an opportunity to see things from a broader perspective. I can't help but suddenly feel like, so we've got Leo and the Jupiter energy is sextiling you. That Jupiter energy in your 11th house is giving you an opportunity to connect to your hopes and your dreams and to recognize that some of those hopes and dreams are best facilitated when we walk through things that scare us. Meaning, I didn't know if I could trust my inner knowing, and I'm so glad I did because I stayed the course. And as I stayed the course, I could feel Spirit's hand teaching me something that was beneficial for now, but also beneficial for the future. DJ, I think that when somebody that statement, you have a lot of hate, that to me is really a lot of hurt. I don't know if it's hate. I think it's you've probably given your heart to people and they haven't in some way abused it or not honored it. And so it builds up this feeling of resentment, and I don't know where your Mars and Pluto energy are. I'm ruled by Mars, so I get it. But at the same time, I don't think you could be filled with hate and join this room. This room is full of love. So you meant you've received a lot of hate. Oh, okay. I thought you meant you had it on the inside. Okay. Let's fix that. All right. So now we'll readdress. We're going to put a little bubble around us that won't allow that energy. Going back to I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you. I've had a lot of, especially from my family, My family is like, hate's probably not a good word because they would balk at that, but love is certainly not a word I would use. So I've had to extract myself from that energy in order to feel loved. I like that idea, little grasshopper waking up with a celebration. Okay. And I'm glad, DJ, that you clarified, because this I do love this room. I don't care how many people are in it at any given time. It's always the quality of the energy which I resonate with. So I'm not looking for big number. Well, I guess we can always have big numbers, but that's not what I care about. Okay. You know what it is, DJs? Hate is so much, there's so much that it poisons the body. You know, that hate and that resentment is like Dr. Emoji, the water guy, you know, and when you fill the water and you infuse it with hateful words, it changes the cellular structure. So it's the same thing here. And I feel like that hate just empowers other people. And I'll tell you, I literally, resentment was my word I would use. I was so full of resentment for the lack of empathy, especially when I'm in trouble. Every person who's ever been close to me is like, you got it, you'll figure it out. And yes, I will, but that doesn't mean I don't need support. So this is sort of the challenge of choosing a path of self-awareness, choosing a path of choice, literally, you know, versus just going into the herd and being absorbed. So I want you to know that here we all love you, you know that, and we're going to capitalize on that now. We're going to start to tell Spirit that we're drawing more and more like-minded people to us. And if they disagree on subtle nuances, we can still agree on the openness of our own opinions. All right, our final sign of the day is our Virgos, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay, Virgo. This is a little bit of a challenging energy because I'm defending myself. I'm defending myself. And let's see why we're defending ourselves. Because if Saturn is opposing you, which it would be in your 7th house, we could find that you are defending your position in some way. Because he's definitely got a position. You know, I also noticed that sometimes the transits just get me. Like, I don't even know why. I'll be fine. And then all of a sudden I have a blue moment, or I feel a little melancholy, or, you know, I just need to cry for a minute. I don't know why. And then it's over. And I just think that's part of, again, the human, you know, ebb and flow. All right, Virgo, here we go. Maya is the angel of schooling and education. And this could be about defending yourself. You know, this is the challenge of the Virgo. Because you're of service to other people, there is an expectation at some point from the people around you. Well, you're supposed to do that. When my grandmother passed away, I was about 37, 30, no, maybe 39, 30, 40, something like my grandfather, 37. My dad looked at me and said, you should take care of your grandmother. You should take over this role. And I thought, I'm not her daughter. My mother should do that. And yet, because my Venus is in Virgo and my Pluto's in Virgo, I have always been the one who was expected to do the right thing, expected to pick up the ball for somebody else. And I feel like if there's still people expecting that, you feel like you have to defend yourself. And now Maya's already starting an education on that, meaning, do I need to do that or don't I? Virgo moon would be the moon would be absolutely a huge pull there. Now we see the marriage partnership card in the form of Daniel, but this is history and partnership. We know that Saturn is in your 7th house. We have Athena, and then we have Fiona. Now I want to offer this because, again, the 7th house is always just categorized as marriage partnership, and that's super narrow. This is where peace lives. This is where harmony lives. This is where balance lives. This is where fairness lives. And the Virgo, in the Pisces energy, you're going to feel that sense of peace, that sense of harmony, through your spiritual connection, through the house of Neptune, house of negotiations, exactly. But negotiating your peace of mind can make you defend yourself every once in a while. You know, until COVID, they would never let you stay home if you were sick. You know that? Now it's like, it's such a joke the way that reversed. And frankly, we should be able to have mental health days. But if we did, we'd be gone out of work more times than we were there. All right, Maya, and there's the hawk, offering you an education in seeing signs and omens and rising above a situation rather than defending yourself. Because this is also, I don't even know what I'm defending. Something is coming, and I don't know why I'm defending myself. And it could be an old story. That would be Saturn. Daniel is in the Angel's Advice being joined by the Birth and the Rebirth card. Athena's being joined by the Baird. And Fiona is being joined by the Swan. This is very much an old story that's being revisited. And in many ways, it could very much have nothing to do with your actual relationship with another human in the form of intimate partnership, and have everything to do with your relationships with other people and the expectation that you are supposed to. If you think about Pisces being your 7th house, that's asking you to be invisible. It's asking you to be sort of, there's the challenging side of Pisces is that, that addiction, escapism, not feeling seen, feeling, and being a participant of your own problems. Okay. So here, this is where I'm going. Maya is about schooling and education. And then there's signs and omens. Spirit is giving you signs and omens about something. Now you have an opportunity to rewrite your story, your history in partnerships. This represents the 7th house. Daniel, yes, we'll talk about marriage partnerships, but also the history I have in my relationships. Now, Athena, in the Angel's Advice, is echoing, asserting yourself in your history, telling a new story. I am a big fan. Okay, look, I have an Aries rising and a Taurus moon. If I run myself into a dynamic where I don't feel comfortable, a couple things are going to happen. Number one, there's a good chance I'm going to drink a lot. Okay. Like I will pour wine, and the next thing you know, that bottle will be gone before I know it, because I'm a nervous wreck and I'm not paying attention, because my inner knowing is telling me, oh, don't go there. And my outer knowing is saying, I have to go there. They expect me to go there. They expect me to do this. That's the challenge of the Virgo. And the Virgo moon will just be really torn, because here Fiona is saying, now that you ask God and the angels for help, be open to receiving. And then the Swan is the transformation from the ugly duckling. And this is where you kind of get to say, you know what? If I trust my intuitive gifts, then Spirit will give me something that will allow me to have a sense of peace as I stand not defending myself, but in leadership for myself. Because the other side of this card, which is rarely spoken about, is leadership. Because again, we don't know what these other wands are doing. We only know that he appears to be defending himself. So I think for my Virgos, a couple of things. I think that Saturn's transit through your 7th house right now is really redefining and assessing the history you have in relationships, the history where you feel dutiful, you feel obligated, you feel I have to, they're my family, I have to, it's my boss, I have to, it's my husband, my wife. And now I sort of want to reassess that and say, if I'm operating on a have to, am I not just teeing up a moment where I could get overly critical and be pissed off and not play to my highest vibration? No is a powerful word, and oftentimes we don't use it to our benefit. We use it in defense. Sometimes saying no ahead of time. No, I don't think that's going to work for me. I'm going to tell you a sad story, and then I'm going to end this broadcast. I don't have a strong relationship with my sister at all. It's very, very competitive, and I don't think I'm the competitor. I just think I'm the one who stands for me. My niece got married a few years ago, and when she told me she got engaged, I had a visceral reaction to it, meaning I felt defensive. I felt like, oh no, God, don't make me go back into that family to go into that wedding and to have to be with them for all those events, because it's oil and vinegar and I do not thrive. I can't afford to go back into situations that I know are erosive to me. And so my reaction started an argument. My reaction to her announcement was probably actually really bad, to be honest with you, and probably hurt her feelings. But I didn't know how to react well, and I didn't know how to be logical in the moment. I was, and I didn't go to her wedding, and I did not go to any of her. I stayed away. And while I'm sad about that, the bottom line is this, and this is what I know. If I get close to my niece, my sister will start punishing her for it. If I show she already did it in her teens. I saw her do it, and she takes favor to her other daughter. So whether my niece knows what I'm doing or not, I don't care. And if I look like the big bad wolf, well, that's the price I'm willing to pay to make sure that her life has harmony, and her relationship with her biological parents is better than the relationship she has with me, because that's what's important. So I have to keep that in my head. I have to remember that when I feel sad and I don't feel loved, I could go back in there, but I will never be embraced. I will never be celebrated. And if celebration comes my way, you can bet my sister's going to extinguish it. And that's why my third house is empty and Mercury is in Scorpio, because my sister offers great transformation for me. So it could be considered a sad story, or it could be considered a story of triumph and understanding and wisdom through a disruption. Don't be sorry, DJ. I chose this life path. I chose this sister. I chose these dynamics, and I hopefully will choose better in my next lifetime. In fact, I'm taking a few lifetimes off. I'm going on vacation on some planet where everything is very kumbaya and they've got great food. Okay, that's it for me for today. I will see you next week. And is Susie in the room? We haven't seen Susie in a while. Good to see you, Susie. All right, everybody. Again, happy birthday to my Libras. Happy fall season. Next week we have an eclipse. So be prepared for your planting of your new seeds. This is a very powerful eclipse. Mercury is going to, I believe Mercury has let me check before I speak out of turn. Look at my little quick notes. Yeah, Mercury is conjunct this. This is going to be really powerful new moon. So maybe we'll rewrite our sibling stories, and we'll all be sisters from another mother, or sisters from another mister. All right, everybody. Oh, yeah. Pig on a lipstick, still a pig, no matter how you look at it. All right, love bugs. I will see you next week. As always, thank you, small wildflowers. I can't do this without you. You are indispensable. Love you. Hope you had a lovely birthday month. And now I'm going to take over the baton. See you next week, everybody. Peace out.